Welcome to Marketing Mistakes and How to Avoid Them, a weekly podcast hosted by Stacy Jones, the CEO and founder of Los Angeles entertainment marketing agency Hollywood Branded. Join Stacy and learn from her 20 years of experience as she shares top-notch advice on marketing best practices for brands and walks you through how to leverage entertainment content and influencer partnerships to increase your brand's overall consumer engagement and, most importantly, your sales. And now, here's your host, Stacy Jones.
Welcome to another episode of Marketing Mistakes and How to Avoid Them. I'm Stacy Jones, and today I'm going to talk to you about 7 next step moves for what brands can do as part of a crisis management plan when their product placement becomes the bad guy on TV. Your brand is in the scene. Wowzer, and good gosh, it's celebration time. Or is it? One of the reasons brands work with product placement agencies is to keep a pulse on the content, which includes both good and bad potential exposure. Because not every time a brand appears on screen will it result in accolades and good times for the brand. Scripts are written based off of real life, but they also add in a lot of extras to keep people glued to their screen. Drama's needed, intrigues needed, and sometimes bad things happen. And when a brand gets in the crosshairs of a writer, very bad things can happen. Like in the case of Crock Pot and their big reveal as the cause of a massive house fire on This Is Us in the show's 2nd season. I've referenced this before, but there really are some great reasons why brands hire product placement agencies for their brand. And one real good reason is that agency is going to keep the pulse of the brand of what is going on in the entertainment industry. Our team and other agencies like us work with prop masters, set decorators, stylists, and transportation coordinators on a day-in, day-out basis. 24/7, and often for decades, which means we build up some pretty fantastic relationships over the years. And when a script gets written by a writer and approved by a director that has a pretty gnarly brand scene, well, usually we get told about it. First, we're asked for clearance and possibly product, or we might just be given a red flag warning that something's around the corner that they know we're not going to love. And if we flag the scene as a problem, we start to work with the production to try to ease their focus onto another brand versus ours. A product placement agency is truly a brand safety net. That doesn't mean we're always successful. Stuff can happen that's out of anyone's control. I remember back 18 or 19 years ago when I was working with Montblanc, when not once but twice in a single night, the only time in the history of the brand that this has happened, a Montblanc perfectly branded Meisterstück pen with a snow white pen end horribly ended up projected out of a jugular of an individual on a TV show. One was Chicago Hope, where the pen was used to save the life of a man. Not so bad, right? The other, a murder mystery TV series where a bad guy used the pen to kill a priest. In either case, the client and our team were not so thrilled. Who knew that could happen? Well, it never did again. With their pens, I can tell you while we were on that brand's watch. The agreements we wrote with the productions ensured that. Ryan, the prop master, apologized profusely after the Chicago Hope mishap. Great guy, and he more than made sure our client was happy in the following episodes and seasons. But in both of those cases, no uproar occurred. Besides internally at the brand, people didn't revolt, throwing their pens out in fear of having them end up in their throats. But with the NBC TV hit series This Is Us, not so true for poor Crock Pot. In fact, according to the reaction on social media, a lot of crock pots hit the kitchen trash by the next morning after the show aired. Why? Because on the show, the crock pot was set up as the bad guy, the reason why Jack, the beloved father for the trio of main characters, died. In the scene, it simply caught fire and burnt the house down. What? That's not so good. In the episode, there's a flashback to a scene where Jack and Rebecca's neighbor, George, gifts the family with his old crock pot. Hey, it has a switch that you have to fiddle with, but no worries, it still works. Then we see Jack cleaning up the kitchen post-Super Bowl party, where the crock pot was put to full use. And after Jack left, somehow it managed to turn itself back on, send out a spark, and light up the dish towel that he had tossed by the unit on the counter. And with no batteries in the smoke detector, tragedy occurred, and Jack ultimately died. The problem is that loyal fans everywhere turned on the crock pot for having caused one of their favorite characters to die. Yes, everyone knew he was going to die. It was built up over 2 seasons. But no one knew how. And death by crock pot? A villain, the bad guy crock pot, was born. And fans started posting on social media that they were scared of their own crock pot, and they were going to toss it out. In case I didn't say it loudly enough, poor crock pot. The Twitter sphere lit up after the show aired, with dozens and dozens of posts about tossing out crock pots to avoid a similar calamity of fire being shared. Again, poor Crock Pot. Listen to some of these posts. We either witness the death of the crock pot industry or the start of everyone buying newer and safer models. Hashtag this is us. Another, the makers of hashtag Crockpot typing a press release for tomorrow. Dear America, calm down. This is us is fake. Another, a crock pot, a freaking crock pot killed Jack. Hashtag this is us. Another, I get married in less than 2 months and suddenly I feel the need to remove the crock pot from the registry. We don't need it. Hashtag this is us. Another, this is me currently throwing my crock pot away after watching last night's hashtag this is us. Hashtag how dare you. And another, just watched the most recent episode of hashtag this is us and thinking maybe we should throw this away. Hashtag crockpot, accompanied by a picture. With only a few voices of support in the crowd, from Angelina, geez, poor crockpot cares, LMAO, I love hashtag this is us, but I would never actually think that my crockpot is going to blow up my house, LOL. They're catching heat for nothing. I know mine is still going to go to good use. Hashtag crockpot is innocent. Well, it certainly started a lot of social conversations. So, what was the show's response? Summed up in a tweet by the show series creator, Dan Fogelman, who said, taking a moment to remind everyone that it was a 20-year-old fictional crockpot with an RA funky switch. Fogelman tweeted, let's not just lump all those lovely hardworking crockpots together. I don't know. How about, I'm so sorry, Crockpot, we're going to write you into another episode that's super positive and make you a star, or give you free ad airtime on our network, or have our cast members all do a cooking lesson using crockpots on set with a press release and photo shoot to accompany. I'm sure that regardless of the fact that the show did not mean to have hundreds to thousands of people throwing out their crockpots, a lot of NBC lawyers were looking into potential safety nets and clarifying allowable usage as they waited for Crockpot's legal team to address them. It's definitely happened. So what is Crockpot going to need to do now? The brand is going to live in full crisis mode fix for a little while. And it is fixable, besides just waiting for time to go by and the show to become forgotten, which might take many, many years as the show is that popular. Here are 7 things Crockpot can do in the next 6 months that will help rebuild their brand perception and erase the horrors of This Is Us. The first, an influencer program, partnering with a variety of macro and micro influencers to fill the social media universe with pictures, videos, and statements of how much people love their crockpots and their favorite recipes. Crockpot needs to unload a lot of free units and some cash as well to get influencers on Team Crockpot, spreading the word about its safety record, how great it works, and why they love it. Secondly, celebrity gift lounges. Crockpot has the power of award season at its feet right now to work with a variety of celebrity gifting lounges around upcoming events, having Crockpots serving food on site that celebrities can eat, and have their photos taken with their own Crockpot gifts. These images are then shared socially and through various media outlets on Crockpot's own digital platforms and website. The power of celebrity works. Bring in a charity layover to this campaign and make it truly newsworthy and press-friendly. As a third option, more product placement for TV and film. Yes, This Is Us damaged the brand, but having Crockpot start making appearances in as many TV shows and films, although that's more like a 12 to 18 month plan, is a way to keep the brand in the Hollywood spotlight on screen and show that, hey, Hollywood still loves Crockpot. Reality shows and food-driven storylines should also be a focus. As a fourth way, behind-the-scenes footage. On-set activations, behind the scenes, where Crockpot starts having a place on every craft service table, with a story of how the brand has taken over Hollywood, plus photos and videos. As a fifth step, talk show segments with implied celebrity endorsements by hosts. Crockpot can start managing their messaging and remind everyone of the vast history of safety that the brand has experienced, and create some memorable moments on screen too. As a sixth step, create branded content. Customized branded content that can be created telling the Crockpot story and shared and boosted digitally will help further drive home the messaging that Crockpot is here to stay and is safe. As a seventh step, public relations. And of course, advertorials and editorials talking about the happy days of using Crockpot and youth to the delicious and healthy foods you can make now. Stop by HollywoodBranded.com to look at our library, which has infographics, white papers, ebooks, and videos, or our blog, blog.hollywoodbranded.com, which has hundreds of helpful hints on how to make brands, influencer, and entertainment content partnerships a success from the get-go. And while you're at the library, make sure you download our Product Placement and Promotions 101 guide. It's going to give you a lot more insight into product placement. That's it for this episode. I hope it was helpful, and please let me know if you have any feedback. I'll see you next week. And as always, if you need a little or a lot of help, my agency, Hollywood Branded, is here to lend a hand. If you would leave a review or any questions I can address in the future, I'd really appreciate it, as your feedback helps me know my advice is valuable and interesting to you.
Are you ready to make the magic of product placement, celebrity event activations, or influencer partnerships help your sales? Visit HollywoodBranded.com to gain access to free content to learn which key tactics best fit your brand. You'll find surveys, webinars, daily blogs, ebooks, and guides, all created to make sure you have access to the best possible marketing practices. Don't forget to join Stacy Jones for our next podcast conversation about marketing mistakes and how to avoid them. Let's make that entertainment marketing magic happen for you.